Hey guys, welcome back to Punishing Grey Raven. In today's video, we're talking teams, the best teams to build for especially more free-to-play players. If you're a whale, do what you want. Honestly, if you're free-to-play, do what you want. You can actually progress through the game with whatever, but I'm just looking at the balanced, the most logical sort of free-to-play team based on what you get from progression. Now, the basic formation that I would recommend building, and this is for campaign. Once we get into like different modes, there will be different teams that you build specifically for different bosses and stuff like that. But for general campaign progression, what I recommend doing is bringing a damage dealer. Now, your damage dealer is going to be the one you want to invest in most, being, you know, upgrade the gear and stuff like that. As for your other two slots, don't worry about it. For the campaign progression, the main way you're going to play it is have your main DPS out the whole time because they're going to be powered up the most, and then the others are just there for support. And then what I recommend doing is bringing along the A rank Nonami that we do get, and then the B rank Nonami that we get, that's the B rank, and the B rank Liv that we get. Now, you get both of those in the first chapter in the tutorial, and they are both fantastic. Now, the reason for these two being fantastic is you get free to play their 5-star weapons through progression, which adds some nice little effects to them as well, but also they're just very balanced characters. We'll look at QTE abilities in a sec, but for instance, if I do a 3-ping with my damage dealer on yellow and I bring out Liv, Liv's going to heal me, but there's also gear sets that you can put on that are going to also buff my damage. Now with Nonami, she's going to come out with her QTE, so if I do a 3-ping of a blue ability, 3 pings just being 3 in a row and you click it, then it's going to bring out Nonami. She's going to knock down the target, which does also work on some bosses, but also reduce their defense, meaning I'm going to deal more damage. So that's the reason I really like having these two in the team. Now, other tanks and supports will function very similarly to these two, but these two are just really easy to get and really easy to get upgrades for as well. So that would be the core team that I would recommend for most free-to-play players. If you did pick up another one of them from your summons or your selects, you can really put them in. It's not the end of the world. It really doesn't matter. As for the DPS, I'm going to be using Bianca. Ideally, you do get her from 7-day login. She's just fantastic because she attacks at range. Now, we're going to jump over and look at some of the other options for DPS. Now, Lee, if you get the S-rank DPSs, you can use them. Now, the reason I like Bianca is because 1, she's easy to get upgrades. 2, you get a free copy of her. So if you summon a copy and then you get the free copy, you've got shards to upgrade her, which is fantastic. But also, she's probably one of the highest damage single target units at the start of the game, and she's from range. So some bosses are better to use ranged characters, some bosses are better to use melee characters, but single target is what you really want for the early progression through the campaign, because bosses are the hard point and AoE doesn't really help in any of the bosses. So single target huge, and the fact that she's ranged means some of those bosses that are easier to battle in melee range, you can sort of just walk up to them so they avoid using some of their annoying skills. But if you are playing a melee damage dealer, still very doable, but you can't avoid some of those effects because you can't stay at range. So that's why Bianca is my #1 choice. Some other good options, like I said, if you get S. Lee, you can do that. S. Karenina, you can do it. Pretty much any damage dealer, like worst case, and I might even just do this through my progression just so I can do videos demonstrating it. You've got the B Lucia that you start the game with. She's not the greatest, but not horrible. You got Lee. This dude's actually pretty decent, and so is this Lucia. So honestly, my top 3 picks would be to #1 Bianca, and then #2 would be a toss-up. If I summoned one of these two, I'd use them. If I didn't get any of them, because I'm not going to use my S selector earlier, I will just go ahead and use the Lucia. But that is pretty much the gist of the team composition. Now, I just wanted to go a bit deeper into some of the effects. So when we look at why we have these two in the team, like I said, you get the weapons. So this isn't really a great effect. Gain 1 signal orb every 30 seconds. Sometimes you will throw her out there, but it's not too important. Now, I've been shuffling around my gear, so don't pay attention to this. But as you'll see, I did upgrade some gear for my Bianca to get through campaign, but I did not upgrade any gear on these two. I just put on the gear for the sets. Like some of these I upgraded to 30 because I'm going to use them later, but that's because they're 6 stars now. But like I said, there are some gear sets, and I will do a full gear guide later on. For instance, this one, healing effects increased by 10%. Next, healing effects increase the target's physical damage by 10% and defense by 10%. Really nice effects. So, you know, she's going to come out, she's going to heal me, but she's also going to increase my damage, giving me that buff. Now, we can also look at her skills, and we go over here. And we see that the QTE, which is the one she comes out after I do a 3-ping, is obviously going to do that heal and deal a bit of damage to nearby enemies. Now, we also have other abilities tied in here. For instance, HP of ally members increased by 10%, which ain't too bad to add in. Then we look at Nonomi and take a look at her passives. And we go over here. So her QTE ability, she's going to deal the damage and knock down the target, which can buy you some time, especially on bosses. Now, we also have passives where defense of all party members is increased by 15%, which you can see not enough skill points. I've just got to get a skill point to unlock that. But you can get the defense increase. And then we also have another ability over here, which is, I think it's this one. Attacks lower the target's extra damage reduction by 10% for 5 seconds. You get all those added effects, which is really nice. Now, when I look at gear, just quickly, now, obviously, this is some 6-star gear. You won't have this at the start, but basically just read the gear set effects and something that might benefit your character. And then just slap that gear on. Normally you're going to be looking at like 5-star, 4 to 5-star gear. Just read them and see what sounds nice. For instance, this 6-star Da Vinci is fantastic. When the QTE is triggered, the active construct gains 10%. So when I bring that Nonomi out, not only is she going to be reducing the defense of the enemy target and knocking them down, she's also going to be increasing my attack due to this effect. And at 4-piece, when I bring out that Nonomi, it's also going to bring out my Liv, and I'm going to gain Liv's attack buffs along with the debuffs that Nonomi's applying, and it's just going to flow on like that. So basic team for new players is going to be pick your damage dealer. Once again, if you're lucky enough to summon a Bianca at the start, then she's going to be fantastic for it. Otherwise, you can just fit in any damage dealer, then chuck Nonomi and Liv in there, and you're pretty much good to go from that point into the game. And like I said, the way you pretty much want to play it is just have your main damage dealer out there in the active slot most of the time. Now, you can swap to get around, get extra effects. Sometimes I will swap to my Liv to group enemies up here and just, buy time, get yourself a fresh, perfect dodge, all that sort of stuff. So you can rotate through your characters, but the main damage of it is going to come from the one character because you don't want to upgrade too much, especially you don't want to upgrade too much 5-star gear. In the progression phases, because eventually it becomes obsolete. So at most you only want to upgrade that one set of 5-star gear, and then we got a boss fight. Rip. But at most you only want to upgrade that one 5-star set of gear to get you through campaign, and then you want to start farming once you get through it and just waiting to get those 6 stars and then slowly upgrade 6 stars for those other characters. So let's jump in here, let's see if we can do some stuff. So as you'll see there, I did that. I get the Liv out. I do a 3-ping on red. It gives me nothing, unfortunately, which kind of sucks. But we're still okay, and then we'll just keep doing this. Dodge this guy for a little bit. He has really quick attack. Oh no, that's a slow attack. I thought it was going to be a quick one. We can get Liv out again, and then we'll get obviously those buffs. Now we finally have a blue 3-ping, so we can do that, get Nonomi out. Nonomi's going to get those debuffs. We get the Liv out again, we get the attack buff. So like I said, they just synergize really well, having that support and defense, especially with the gear sets that you can apply to them. And this is where I sometimes swap, because I know he's going to one-shot me, and if I'm not playing it perfectly, I will get hit. I got away from that one, but this is where my other units just become basically fodder for me, because I don't want my main character to die here. And I'm trying to dodge him, so I got the dodge there. He got me there. Like I said, I still don't know the timing on this boss. There we go, got him. And there we go. We can go finish this off after we lost 2 characters. But that's definitely something you can do with the supports. Swap them out just to take those instant deaths if you're not sure on a boss fight. But that is the basic team. Like I said, attacker, leave it in most of the time, can swap out, and then have a nice tank, support being Liv and Nonomi for free to play, because you do get their weapons along the way, and they're just solid and pretty easy to upgrade. So that is going to be it for this one, guys. Like I said, I will be streaming at the launch of the game, so if you want to come hang out, feel free. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.